Hello and welcome to Investors Hangout, brought to you by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund and Value Research. Now, 2 years ago, gold was 10% of your portfolio. You did nothing, you did not add a gram to it, but today it is close to 20%. You did nothing, but the price did it for you. Now, a viewer has sent in a question this week. He sent in a sharp argument. He says gold is insurance. So, insurance should not be trimmed just because it paid out. So, by the end of this episode, you'll know if this argument holds, if you should do anything about it, and what to do this weekend. So, then, before we get to trimming, let's build the argument for gold in a portfolio.
I've spent a good part of my career talking that how gold is a useless asset. And I've been a follower of Warren Buffett. And I went by his rationale, the framing, that it's a useless asset. It lies in the locker. And it's not a productive one like equity, debt, or any other asset which is at work, which is being put to use. And there is a worth of that. It contributes to value being added in some process. As compared to that, gold just sits there. And then something unusual happened. World over, the central banks just queued up to buy gold. And that was entirely a result of, or the function of, and this was coming. This was being talked about. This was being speculated for many years. That the dominance of dollar as a global currency, if it ever comes into pressure, if it is ever being questioned, then gold will be a very valuable thing because it has a longer history. It is considered to be a currency. So as a currency, it actually took mainstream. It was a mainstreaming of it because most central banks in the world, they went about acquiring gold post-Ukraine war. And that attack completely transformed it because the dollar assets of Russia was confiscated and many countries queued up. And then we had this impression that in uncertain times, gold becomes valuable. It is an uncorrelated asset. It is a store of value. All that is fine. But that is also the time when the war happened. It was all being done in anticipation of the war. And when this new war happened, the second war happened, gold tanked. And gold tanked entirely because most of the central banks who accumulated it, they dumped it. They needed money. And because it has become the second largest, so the character of gold as an asset has changed as a result of the changing dynamics. And but I still feel that, I changed my view. I changed my view simply because it is an uncorrelated asset. It should be looked upon as an insurance. One should have it. And if it is going to be an insurance, then it should be a tiny part of it. It should be a tiny part of it that in the worst of case, there will be something which will be a store of value. It should not really acquire a good part of your portfolio. That is how I look at it now.
Right. Now, the viewer who sent us this question, he thinks that more gold equals more protection. What is wrong with that argument?
Insurance has a very strange flaw. It fails the moment you start winning. You buy a term insurance and you buy a large term insurance. And if you win by buying term insurance, the fallout of that winning is something even more devastating. So if you're overall, the reason why you buy insurance, that if there is a doomsday, there'll be something left over, but you don't expect the doomsday to come. The reason why gold is winning because others are struggling and that is good part of your portfolio. That is the reason why you should not feel happy about, look at insurance as an insurance. Don't let it cross a basic threshold because our innate expectation should be that we win with real assets. And insurance or gold, if you look at it as an insurance in your overall portfolio, it should remain an insurance. I would like to illustrate it with a number. You had a 50 lakh rupees portfolio and you had 5 lakh rupees invested in gold. And that 5 lakh became 10 and your remaining portfolio did not grow. So now in a 55 lakh rupees portfolio, now you have 10 lakh rupees in gold. This is 18%. If you don't rebalance it, you'll just keep riding it. This is not what you planned for, and profit from it.
Most investors, they are taught, hold your nerve, don't tinker too much, stay off the app. You are saying that discipline is the trap here.
You look at it as a portfolio framework. We always keep saying that think of asset allocation once your money becomes something meaningful. then we say that once you have an asset allocation, have a periodic rebalancing plan. I think the way to look at it is a sensible plan, a sound investment plan should have an asset allocation embedded in it. Once you have achieved a certain scale, otherwise start with your SIP until it becomes 5 years worth of your salary or 7-8 years worth of your savings. Don't worry about asset allocation. You have nothing to lose. Why worry? Why even build that downside protection? But once you have that and you choose to build your asset allocation, that I should have 70% into equity, 20% into debt, 10% into gold. And you do it directly, you do it indirectly. Many investors have gone about buying sovereign gold bonds or gold funds or gold ETF or multi-asset fund. These are the various ways in which people have gone about acquiring gold and over a period of time. And more so in recent past after the price went up, because chasing recent past performance is investors' favorite pastime. And it becomes easy when something is going up rapidly. You try to ride the bus. And for whatever reason, I think it is about time to step back, think of a plan, and make sure that you rebalance it. And that is a rebalancing plan. If you have chosen it to be 5%, make sure it is 5%. Let it ride up to 10%. Trim it to 5%. You'll keep benefiting if gold keeps oscillating and it is able to hold value. And it still does the job of an insurance, that it always remains 5%. Just in case the doomsday, your 5% is protected.
Now, can you explain how to do this step by step, how to fix it step by step?
I think the simplest way of doing it is set up your portfolio at Value Research Online. Import your portfolio in an automated way from CAMS, Carvey, or your CDSL and SDL statement. Just upload it. And it is able to aggregate all your assets together. It will take into account all underlying gold or equity or fixed income coming by virtue of equity funds, debt funds, hybrid funds, or sovereign gold bonds, because they are all part of your demat account, or gold ETFs. And you get a very precise number. What percentage of your money is in equity, what percentage is in debt, and what percentage is in gold or commodity. And then you decide what is your target number. You want it to be 10%, you want it to be 5%, or it is at 7% and you want to take it up to 10%. You decide. But keep it up to this much only, because as I said, it's an insurance. You don't want insurance to really cover your room. And if it has gone past what your targeted thing or was impression in your mind, and as I gave in that illustration that it has become 18%, trim it down, decide what to sell. There could be a mechanism of selling it which is more direct. If you hold gold fund or gold ETF or sovereign gold bond, maybe don't sell sovereign gold bonds, because sovereign gold bond you should not sell for the simple reason that when you hold it till its maturity, you will be able to realize it. And for holding till maturity, you are getting 2.5% interest as well. There might be one more reason why you should carry on or continue holding the sovereign gold bond, because fresh issuance have stopped. Government of India realized it much later that it has turned out to be a very expensive issuance. There is a premium to something which has stopped coming because of the supply has stopped. So carry on with that, but look at it holistically and make sure. But that does not insulate you from the big decline that can happen if it happens. And if you looked at it like that, that was one thing. If you look at it as an investment, then it's a different story altogether. You should take your own bet.
So you've illustrated 4 steps. Check the current allocation, compare it to your target, sell the excess if you want, and deploy into what has lagged.
Yes, what has lagged. And that is what rebalancing is about. But lagging ones, which are good ones.
So it is also really hard to sell what is rising, because every instinct says one should not sell if something is going up.
Yes, that is the instinct. And that is where the rebalancing principle comes in very handy. It is not about selling lock, stock, barrel, not taking your 18% down to 0% just because it has gone up. Bring it down, as I keep saying, and in Investor Hangout, we sound like a stuck record. We keep repeating, do your SIP, invest in equity for the long run, do this, have your asset allocation, keep rebalancing it. These are very basic tenets. This is a discipline, and this is a discipline which you have to enforce. That comes in very handy, because don't bring down your gold allocation if it has gone up to 18% to 0%. Bring it down to 17%, bring it down to 16%, and have a calibrated, as you went on, kept on increasing it, bring it down to 10% if that is your target. And do it steadily over the next 6-12 months. That way, 10% will keep rising. You will still have the pleasure of a rising asset. At the same time, you will enjoy the discipline. And it is not that you are taking money out from here and consuming it. You are putting it to work elsewhere, which is basically, it's all about framing your rules and following it.
Okay. Now, coming back to the viewer's original question, which was about multi-asset funds. They hold gold, equity, debt, and rebalance automatically. So does your argument support him or undercut him?
No, these are the finest way of actually holding gold. If you believe that gold is something which should be there, and these hybrid funds turn out to be advantageous in one another way, which is, if you are doing it at your level, if I have a large portfolio and I choose to have 70% into equity, 20% into fixed income, 10% into gold, and if I rebalance it even annually, there's a tax implication. If it is happening in this multi-asset fund, there is zero tax implication. I can hold it for 20 years and the fund can carry on with the 10%. My only concern is that some of these multi-asset funds, they don't have long enough track record to say that they are able to move in a very agile way, in a profitable way, increase their gold allocation or change their equity allocation or reduce their equity allocation or increase their fixed income allocation in an opportunistic way, which enhances or optimizes your return.
So now one last question. What if I don't rebalance it? What is the cost of inaction there?
The cost of not rebalancing could be extremely rewarding or it could be extremely painful. If gold tanks, then you will have regret that you did not square up a part of it. If gold keeps going up, then you will actually benefit by not following me.
All right, so build your rules, follow them, because long-term financial success rests on your discipline. We'll see you next week.
An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.